All right, the little red dot says we're live, guys. Real quick before you go into the weekend, I hope you've had an amazing week. I hope April has been a stellar month for you guys. I hope Yah's blessed you. I hope your bank accounts are getting full, your pipeline's getting full of buyers and escrows and everything else. I hope everything's working out for you guys. Today's video is about costs that we don't always think about and some costs that I've seen adjust a little bit in the transactions that my team and I are doing that I wanted to bring to your attention, guys. So if you're already an expert at the cost sheet for the buyer and the seller, you may already know this information. You might think it's dumb. If you do, just leave a comment down below. Josh, I need something a little more challenging. But if this is helpful, then absolutely give the video a thumbs up when you're done with it. And hopefully it helps you in your career. And then you could share it with another agent who it might help them in their career too, making sure these numbers are right. Because with these adjustments in the numbers you're going to want to be aware of when you're writing these contracts. At least here in Oklahoma, whenever we write a contract, we've got to present the seller or the buyer with the numbers so they know what they're getting themselves into. And these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 costs that I want you to be aware of. So when you're filling out the cost sheet, this is straight from the real estate commission, guys. The first one that you want to think about as you're helping a seller is their taxes. And this one's not too difficult to think about because it's the first line here on the net sheet. So you can go to most of the county assessors websites in Oklahoma, look up county treasurer's websites in Oklahoma, look up what the cost was for the taxes for that month, and then you just divide it by 2. So if you're selling a $400,000 property and it has $5,000 annual tax on it, well, that's going to be real easy. If you're selling it in June, you just put 6 right there. And then if it's $5,000, that's half, $2,500. That's how easy it is. That's how easy it is for the seller tax portion. So any questions on figuring out the taxes for the sellers, guys? Taxes for the sellers. Because in Oklahoma, you pay it in the rears. I don't know how your state works, but in Oklahoma, you pay the taxes in the rears. So you got to account for that on the seller net sheet. Any questions on that? That one's pretty straightforward. So if you've got questions on it, put them down in the put them down in the thingy comments down below. The third seller, the second seller cost that I want to chat with you about is deferred payments. Deferred payments. We're going to get to buyers next, but I'm just doing sellers first while I've got this pulled up here. If they had any deferred payments during the pandemic, you want to account for that on the estimated net to seller sheet. If you don't account for it, there could be a $5,000 deferred payment bill. I've seen some $30,000 deferred payment bills. You've got to ask them when you sit down at the listing appointment, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, are there any deferred payments that we need to account for? Are there any deferred payments that we need to account for? And then where I put the deferred payments in is just underneath additional charges right here. And their payoff with their mortgage lender, that may not show the deferred payments, guys. I've seen deferred payments come from a different department, from the payoff department, and I've seen deferred payments come from HUD on settlement statements, guys. So you want to account for deferred payments, and then just put deferred. Please don't deferred. Please don't judge me on my spelling if that's incorrect. Deferred payments. This is where I put it. I put it on the second page underneath additional charges. And if there's a $15,000 deferred payment bill, account for it. Account for it. Because when people are selling houses and all of a sudden their net drops $15,000, that's a huge difference. It's a huge difference. Am I right? You agents out there, you team leaders out there, you broker owners out there, that's a huge difference. That could definitely put a kink in the transaction. So seller item number 1 that you want to pay attention to is the taxes. Item number 2 that you want to pay attention to is deferred payments. And then you want to give the seller back their HOA credit. You want to give them back their HOA credit. And I see this all the time. Agents don't always account for the HOA credit, guys. If you're helping a seller sell a house, usually their HOA dues are paid at the beginning of the year. Usually they're late by February 28th. Well, down here, guys, you got HOA credit. Sellers credits to seller. You see that? So if they have a $750 HOA fee per year, where did my calculator go? 750 divided by 2, they sell in June. That means they get a $375 credit, guys. $375 right there. $375 credit. Now, did that make the number go down? Yes, it did. Okay, the calculator's working right on this this example of the seller net sheet. So those are 3 seller items that you as a real estate agent, a professional salesman, professional saleswoman, a team leader, a broker owner, you want to make sure that you're accounting for when you're doing these net sheets for the sellers. Because if they have a deferred payment and that wasn't accounted for on the net sheet, that could really throw a kink in it. And it's always a positive to say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what's your annual HOA due? They tell you, well, that's a credit back to you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, because you paid it in February, right? Well, you get it credited back according to the Oklahoma real estate contract at the time of this video. Any questions on seller numbers that people don't think about? Anything you guys could think about? Put them down in the comments below, and I'll be sure to put that on the next seller net sheet video too. I'm going to blow through a whole seller net sheet video probably next week. Not this week. It's Friday. It's getting ready to be the Sabbath. I've got some files I got to turn in real quick so I can get paid on and make sure everybody's paid on. And I got another video I got to edit real quick on the consumer side of things before it gets dark. But that's the seller net sheet. Let's jump over to the buyer net sheet real quick. And I want to show you 3 different things on the buyer cost sheet that I want to bring to your attention on this video. Okay, so as that's going over there, let's jump back over here to my list. I'm looking at my list over here on the right. That's what I'm looking at. Buyer taxes. Buyer taxes, guys. Be sure to account for them. The Real Estate Commission makes it real easy to account for the buyer's taxes. 1-year tax insurance. They're buying a $400,000 house. They've got $5,000 in taxes. Put it right there. It's that easy. You can look it up on the treasurer's site. If you're buying in Oklahoma County's got the tax listed on the Oklahoma County site. So you literally grab it off Oklahoma County site for the property. And I'm using this as an example. Not all $400,000 houses have $5,000 of taxes. Some have $6,000 of taxes. Some have $6,500 of taxes. But look at the county assessor's site. And then over here on impounds and escrows, ask the lender what they're going to do, guys. Even though this says 3 months right here, the lender may want 4 months. The lender may want 6 months. But ask them what the lender is going to do. Does that come out to $1,250? Everyone who's really good with math is 5,000 divided by 4, $1,250. I believe that's what it is. Okay, yep, $1,250. But you could put $1,250 here. But if the lender is going to want 6 months worth of taxes, you're $1,250 short. You're $1,250 short on your estimated cost to buyer, guys. So verify those taxes with the lender and with the county assessor. So going over here, let's check that off the list. HOA administration fees. Guys, there's HOAs charging people application fees now. I've seen that in the luxury neighborhoods like Gaillardia. I think Gaillardia is like I think it's a $3,500 HOA admission fee. I'm not 100% sure. It's been about 3 years since I sold one of those properties. But I'm seeing it even in the local HOAs, guys. The HOA admin fee. That's crazy. That's crazy. But it's a cost that you're going to want to account for as a professional real estate salesman, as a professional real estate saleswoman, as a team leader, as a broker owner. Account for that cost. So if that HOA has an additional fee just to even join it, you want to definitely account for that, because that could throw another kink in the whole process. And I'm just trying to see here on the buyer cost sheet where that would be for Oklahoma. Yeah, I'm not really okay. Right here. So you are always putting, like if it's got a $500 HOA fee and you sell it in June, you're always putting $250 there to pay the seller back their credit. But now if they have a $500 application fee, that $250 just turned into $750, guys. $750. That's crazy, right? That's crazy. But as a professional salesman, as a professional saleswoman, you want to account for that. So start calling the HOA, finding out if there's a membership fee for a buyer. I've heard about that, and I've seen it, and I've handled it in luxury properties, luxury HOAs, but I'm seeing it now even in the more typical HOAs, the middle class HOAs. It's crazy, guys. Something you want to be aware of. So let me go ahead and check that off of our list right here. And then the final thing for a buyer, guys, credit checks used to be like 40 bucks, used to be like $22, $40, $22 for a credit check. Lenders have been telling us, and if you haven't heard this, I want to bring it to your attention. Credit checks are going up, guys. They are going up. Right now, I'm hearing on average about $125. $125. So when buyers are tight and interest rates are high, you need to account for every single expense in this estimated cost to buyer sheet. Yes, it's an estimated cost to buyer sheet. I get that, guys. It's an estimated. But the more precise your numbers are, the more close your numbers are to actuality, the more easier the transaction is, especially getting to closing. So on the buyer side, the credit check fees are going way up. Verify not only the annual taxes, but how many months of escrows are needed too. And then also be sure to see if that HOA, even if it's a regular HOA, make sure that HOA doesn't have an application fee or an application charge just to admit the person to the HOA. So those are the three big ones when it comes to buyer costs that I wanted to point out to you guys today. And then the seller cost, of course, we just went over. Guys, if you found value in today's video, I ask that you give it a thumbs up, share it with any of your agents in the office, share it with your broker owner, your team leader. They can use this video for training purposes too. And of course, guys, if you're ready to discuss how eXp Realty is obsessed with your success, I want to chat with you. We can go deep after we watch the summary video on it. It's a short 9-minute video. It explains so much about eXp Realty and what Glenn Sanford has built here for you. And then, of course, we could do a screen share and really talk about what you want to know about and what you liked most about the video, guys. Super excited to work together. Thank you so much for joining the channel. Give it a big thumbs up. Enjoy your Shabbat. All the glory to God. And I'll see you guys out there in the field. Have a good one.